السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. So today in the continuation of our recent 2 day series, we have last and final day of our research bootcamp. And in the prior series we studied about how to select a topic and abstract writing and other main features of article writing. And today we're gonna study about publication with our instructor, Dr. Omar Farooq. And over to you, sir.
First of all, as a customary check, I would like to ask, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're
Yes, sir,
audible.
you are audible.
All right. Thank you so much. So basically, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So the past two sessions were based on the introduction and the overall structure of research. What research basically is. I just wanted to make all of the attendees realize that this is something very important. Number one. Number two, how crucial and how at the same time how crucial it is and how easy it can be. Both the things go side by side according to me. Although it is not very well understood by the people here, but of course they realize that people still are doing work, even by having and staying in this there are some budget restraints maybe. It is one of the issues which I would like to address today. Very important. Budget restraints is for some people it becomes the biggest issue right from the beginning of research. It does. I do agree, but I will try to give some solutions, some sort of substitutes to it. Also, uh, just giving the recap of what happened before, the introduction and starting from the inspiration for research, the importance of research, how to brainstorm, how to get all the necessary tools, including internet tools, including the tools around you. Of course, you will do field work during the course of your research. You will have to go through many research papers and books as well. But at the end, of course, it is all what is in your head, what you exactly want to do in your research. And after, what if you have decided that now that my work and my mind is absolutely clear and focused on that particular research topic, now it is the time to follow the procedure. The procedure, of course, starts from the title, then the abstract, very brief abstract. It has to be, these days it has to be written very briefly, followed by the keywords, 3 to 5. They can be more, they can be as many as 10 as well. They can be as many as 15 as well. It depends on the person. The keywords are one of those things which is totally up to the researcher. Totally. So after the keywords, of course, the introduction starts. Introduction, of course, is somewhere the overall summary. You can say, if some people would say, again, I'm repeating for the third and last time, if someone would say what exactly abstract is it the summary of the paper? No, it is not. It cannot be a summary of the paper, because the paper has to be written or worked on after you have given the main idea of your research. How it can be the summary of the paper? Because the work still has to be done. So it is a main idea. The abstract is the main idea. And after you give the introduction, you give the summary in the introduction of what tools you are going to use and what have you, and what exactly you have in your mind. Meaning, you can give the hypothesis also have a different structure as well. Different hypothesis, both are very important. And coming to the point now, the most important point, that many students, many researchers, they are very concerned about the publication of their research. And this exactly is the topic of today's session as well. I would like to start with what I mentioned, that there are some budget restraints, and many scholars, many researchers will be and should be concerned about the monetary issues. Now, coming to the point, where we have to understand that research is something which can bring you lots of money, which can bring you lots of opportunities as well. Those opportunities that I'm talking about here as well, and abroad, especially abroad. There is nothing in my humble understanding, what I have seen over the past 5 years, there is nothing of more importance than a good research work abroad. If you want to go there and pursue a degree, of course, you have to go through many things. You have to go through language proficiency tests. You have to pass aptitude tests. But if you have done a good decent the other part of publication, what if you are working here? I mean, leave aside for a second that what happens abroad, what happens in the West. Leave aside that for a second. If a student is here, if a researcher is here, and they want to get their project started, they might face some issues in publications. First of all, if it is a field work, it's an experimental work, of course they will again have to go through some budgeting. For that, I would say, if the topic or if the project is by nature something which needs experimentation, maybe some trials, like clinical trials. Very important. One of the most important thing in medical research is clinical trials. There are some hacks, although they are very unorthodox, but I will tell, because you have to manage in these kind of circumstances. You have to manage. There are some things which cannot be done by going through the right and the straight well established process. You have to sometimes go off, go a little, take a little shortcut and then reach your goal. And one of those is, of course, if you are faced with a clinical trial. Now, for the sake of argument, you have a clinical trial for let's say smoke is causing lots of breathing and lungs issue these days. And what might be the effect of smoke on people aging from let's say minors, from 12 to 16 years of age. And then what is the effect on 18 to 30 years of age, people with higher immunities. And then the old age, the middle age, 30 to 50, and then the old age after 52 onwards. You need to check the effects of smoke, that what exactly is happening. Now, it is very important, very crucial. I haven't seen, basically, I have seen some of the researches being done in China, in USA, in Hong Kong as well, maybe in Hong Kong and these places, but nothing has been done. I just studied before this session. I was studying a report of University of Chicago. They came here from Chicago to Lahore to study the effects of smoke on the people of Lahore, of here. Yeah, they came from University of Chicago to do the work here, and we were not doing anything. We didn't do anything. Why? Because I don't blame people. I can blame, again, I'm saying I can blame many people, but I'm not blaming anyone, because we should start blaming ourselves first. Basically, these things can only be done through clinical trials. So one part of research in the form of clinical trial is you go by the process. You submit an application to a particular hospital or a research institute, a medical college, or either of these institutes as a combination or individually, all. And then you will get an approval. After the approval, it will be officially done and conducted, and afterwards you will, of course, analyze quantitatively and qualitatively both the results of your clinical trial, and at the end, of course, there will be a conclusion. But when you don't have all these processes, in this kind of society, and people, they are not very cooperative as well. I have to say that people are not very cooperative. If you go by the rules, you go by the book, you have to tell the person, you have to tell the patient that I am using you, I will use your data, that I am, will retrieve from you and your symptoms, or, all the process of your procedure in the treatment. I will use it for a research. They might get concerned about it because people are not used to it. I have to say, and I have to agree to this. So what will you do? You will do it on the personal level, on uh, of through something which is called jugaad. Jugaad. What you will exactly do, you will start doing it on your own without taking an approval from anywhere. You'll start doing it on your own, and it is accepted. And if someone will, the initial response might be, is it accepted, or is it acceptable if you follow the procedure of research methodology? Basically, the research methodology consists of all those five parts which I have already told, and it starts from, of course, the topic, which is the introduction, and goes to the hypothesis. You have to build the hypothesis. Of course, you will go through the trials, and of course, after the trials, you will go to the the analysis of them, and after that, there is a conclusion. The conclusion will give you the overall scenario, that what exactly happened. What you will do, that the patients you are checking, the patient you are diagnosing them, you're treating them, and afterward you are checking the response. You will do one thing, that you will start noting down all these things in your personal notebook. And after a target that you have set for your research, maybe for example, the sake of the least sample should be 30 should be the least sample. And after the 30 the number 30 is reached, one day in per day, of course it will go to at least 15 to 20 days. After 3 weeks, you will go through all the data and analyze it, and then you will use it in your paper, in writing of your paper. Afterwards, clinical trial is, of course, it's a desi thing, a very desi tarika, which I'm referring to. But on the other hand, it will be acceptable if you go through the process, and afterwards, of course, you will have to mention that I had such and such restraints. How will you mention it? Without mentioning it, it will not be accepted. How will you do it? You will mention this in delimitation. There is a column of delimitation in your proposal of research. There is one word limitation, and there is one delimitation. Delimitation is more important, limitation is not so important. Delimitation is that your what restraints you will face during, and what you can face, the restraints that you can face during the conduction of your research. This is delimitation. You will then mention that I am, or I will, or I have to face budget restraints, I have to face system restraints, and you would have to give the points which that I have already mentioned. Number one, that the process is not in my favor. I am compelled to conduct the trials on my own, and as a result, all the results that I will provide, they will be personal analysis, and I, if it is possible, as a delimitation, will also take the opinion of experts, some of the experts, which can affirm or reaffirm. Of course, they can be your research partners, they can be your peers, they can be your other professors. They can, of course, endorse your results. So it will be done, no problem at all. So keep in mind, delimitation is very important. Mentioning the delimitation prior to the conduction of your research is very important. And what limitation is something opposite to it. Limitation is that what are the things that I'm going to do inside this research paper or research article. And delimitation is what is the overall structure and the framework of your research, and what will be the restraint during the course of conduction of the research. And so there is a difference, or it's a simple difference, can be understood by the scale of these two. Delimitation has a bigger scale, and limitation has a smaller scale. Very simple. So you should understand these technicalities in order to make your work easy. Same thing goes, absolutely the same thing will go in other fields as well. For example, it can go in engineering as well, it can go in computer science as well, and it can also go in social science as well. Now, in social sciences, someone may ask that what can be the delimitation there. They do not need to conduct any experiments, but sometimes they need to conduct surveys. They need to conduct they need to make so many questionnaires, and then after the questionnaire, of course, they have to distribute and then collect and then analyze the data and then write them up. And conducting interviews can also be very expensive. Sometimes they are experts, sometimes outside the country, they are not here. All the experts are not, I wouldn't say that there are not many experts of any subject here. There are some very good people, but then if you call someone an expert in the field, in a particular field, then I would say that you might have to sometimes go abroad for the interview, for the sake of interviews. There is some people are very kind to give an interview online if they are kind enough, but on the other hand, sometimes it is not easy as well. So you might have to travel abroad for your interviews. Also, I will give some tips on how can you use some awards or some can say scholarships. Sort of, a scholarship is not the right word, award is the right word, for going abroad for your research. It is very important. Now, for example, if you are enrolled in a degree, a bachelor's, undergraduate is not appreciated. It's not even yet that they're not even considered it. It is that it should be appreciated, but I'm saying that it should be. It should be kept in mind that the undergraduate degrees are basically mostly are not considered to be of that level, of that research level. So at least it has to start from the graduate level and after the master's and PhD levels. So if you are enrolled in these degrees, graduate, masters, or PhD, you of course will be in this country. You have to be under the Higher Education Commission, the HEC. The HEC also have a policy of research grants, research scholarships, or research grants in simple words, or awards in simple words we call it. You would have to give the overall framework. You will have to write it up. You will have to take a letter of recommendation from your peers, uh, as many as you can get, at least 2 to 4, or may work if they are of good quality. Good quality meaning they are of renowned people, renowned researchers, and you submit that application to HEC. Now HEC is mostly short of budget. So coming to the second point, maybe you can be lucky. You can be lucky enough to get the research grant from them. You can very well be, but I have never got it because they're always short of budget. Um, Sometimes they do. The students that they support are those who clear either the UGRAT or some these American or US or UK scholarship programs, the UGRAT, or maybe Melinda and Gates scholarships, or sometimes they might also US based some scholarships. I just forgot their name. They are some of these programs which they somehow do, because they have to survive themselves, right? So that is why they might support these programs. But otherwise, the research grants are very hard to come by. But coming to the point that now is the more kind of a more important work, that how will you get, if not from HEC, then what is the next option? Next option is your own institute, of course. It is the next option. There is no, again, I told this in the first session as well, that there is always, if it is a university, there is no university that can get a license without a research department. The research department is mostly goes by the name of ORIC, ORIC, ORIC. So there might be a ORIC department in your own institute. You might go and look for it. Research department should have to be there. It has to be, because without it, sometimes it's hidden. Sometimes it's not even told that there is a department. So sometimes it depends on the quality of the university that you are in. So you have to go there and tell them about your research work. After that, there will come two basic options for you. There can be two options that can be adopted. Either you would have to opt for pre-research grant or post-research grant. What is the pre-research grant? It is the award which you will get before the conduction of your research. It is hard to come by. It is really hard, because whatever you will spend on your research, it is quite premature. The budgeting will be premature. You won't be able to tell them the kind of money that will be spent, and on the conduction of research and on publication of research. Both have to, of course. Both are the important parts of a publication. But what is easy? The easier part is, once you do all this by yourself and then submit them the proof that the thing is done, now they believe in you. Now that they believe that you have done something already. Now, for them to get an advantage from your research, they will support you and reimburse you. What is reimbursement? Reimbursement is the money which you get after you have published or conducted your research. So reimbursement is the most easiest thing to get. Reimbursements are available in all of the universities. Mostly they are available, but mostly students are not aware of it. They are not, I have to say, they are not aware. You should go and check the reimbursement policy of your institute. Now again the question arises, what if a person or a student or a scholar does not have the money to conduct all these researches, or maybe to get them published? Then they will arise another question. So for them, experimental research is a no-go area. Experimental research is quite will be very difficult. They can go, but it doesn't mean they can't do the research. It doesn't mean that they can do. So what will they do? They will do theoretical research. What is theoretical research? Now again, what Einstein did was theoretical research. What Erwin Schrödinger did, that was okay. It was also theoretical, but some scientists like Paul Dirac, he also did theoretical research. Some scientists like Niels Bohr, they did both. He did both. Robert Oppenheimer, very famous personality nowadays, he did both as well, theoretical and experimental both. So most of the scientists which have made bigger names, they have all done theoretical research. Experimental research nowadays, it used to be 100 years ago that a single scientist was able to create a huge difference to a society. But nowadays it is a group thing. It is mostly a group thing, because you see, after the sun, this sun particle accelerator that was built in Bern, Switzerland, which is, all the scientists of many countries, including Pakistan, participated in building that, the sun particle accelerator. After that, all the, what should be said, the culture changed. The culture is now changed a lot. And I would say that during that, during during the understanding of research and how scientists must be, how they might be, they used to be one man show. They used to be one man shows, that one person, a single person can create a difference like that. But now it is mostly group thing, a group, meaning many scientists coming together, many people, a group of researchers coming together to perform a particular research. This is the ideal situation. The budget will be distributed, the hard work will be distributed, the duties will be distributed, and the fruits will also be distributed. Very simple. But if you are a loner and you want to go by your own, you can also do that. Both the things can be done. It's not difficult. So to explain the publication process now, if you are done with understanding that how you need to approach to research, approaching to research, and then coming to the publication process, it is again difficult. And what should I say, it is again a little tricky. Once all these things are covered, that you have understood that I cannot do experimental research, there still can be some things. I also gave an interview 2-3 months ago, where I conducted a research, an experimental research on very low budget. How did I do it? I requested some institutes abroad in USA. Requested them. I wrote an application to them that this and this has to be done. Some things, it was a long process, and maybe I wrote 4 of those applications, and 2 were accepted, and they accepted to do the things for me, because they liked the project. They liked, they said, okay, we'll run the trials. We'll do that on our own equipment. Of course, the credit will be distributed, but the main idea will stay with you, and you will, of course, will be the principal author. So what happened, that it was done, and after that, it came out quite big. So this is how sometimes it can also be done like this. You can also write it up. You can also submit an application in in universities like Harvard, Stanford, which are, of that level, Harvard, Stanford, Yale, these. And if you have done quite good research on your proposal, you have to build a proposal and send them, and they will of course review it. And sometimes it gets accepted, sometimes it gets rejected. Rejection is not a bad thing. If I submitted on four places, 2 rejected, right? So should I feel bad about it? No, 2 accepted as well. So why should I be concerned about it? They might have their own issues. They are not free. Their labs are not free. So what's the point of of fearing rejection? You should have to try. You should have to try and write an application and then submit to them. Write an email and just check. Checking with those people and scholars, it is also very important that if they are willing to participate in a research, if they are willing to conduct a research on their ground, and these kind of things are very important. So if not, if even you don't get a chance in that manner, you don't get a chance like this as well. Now comes the part of conducting the research, which is purely theoretical. This is what you are left with. But I have told you that the theoretical research is also of a huge impact. And I have told you the names of scientists which are of that level, and they all did what they did experiment theoretical research, and they made their name through theoretical research. Now, what exactly theoretical research is, I have told that already. Purely based on your theories, you would have to do theoretical work. You will write up your theories, which are in the form of propositions, sometimes in the form of recommendations, sometimes all the work that has been done. It is a combination of the previous work and then the present problem, and then you will come up with your own solution, which you have extracted from either your environment and society, the way you have worked, and then from your mind. Of course, you can come up with a theory in terms of physics, in experimental physics, and there are two different subjects and two different disciplines in the field of physics. There is experimental physics and there is theoretical physics. Both different degrees. They are not even same degrees. They are both different degrees. The experts are both different. The experimental physicists are different. The theoretical physicists are different, and different expertise, different degrees. Also in other subjects, I think that should be a thing, but it is not by now. It's one of the things which is disappointed. But you then come up to that point that you need in theoretical research, you need to go through much of a literature. You have to study lots of literature. You might have to do interviews, you might have to conduct surveys, which of course is a part of research. Surveys and questionnaires, both, of course, that can be done. Now coming to publication. Publication is only done in, of course, research journals. And what research journals are, they have categories. You might be well aware that there are 4 categories in research journals. The highest category is called the W category, and after that the lower to it is X, and then Y and Z. Z is not now recognized category. It's not a recognized category now. Z is decategorized. Z is not considered anything. Even Y is not of that level. Y doesn't have the Y category. It doesn't have any impact factor as well. X is good enough because it has at least 4 blind peer reviews, and W has more than 10 peer reviews, blind peer reviews. It should be noted that now how to access these journals and how to get your research published. It is up to you to decide that whether your research was of what level. If it is really good according to you, then you must submit it to a W category journal. And if it is according to you, it's not up to that level, then do not risk it. Submit it in an X category journal. Um, how to know about it? In Pakistan, in HEC have given a list of those research journals. HEC have done at least something good. They have given the research of Scopus indexed journal. Scopus is a body. You can say, in simple words, it's a body which regulate the research journals internationally. And Scopus have given a list, and which the Higher Education Commission have recognized those in a list and made a list of those, and they have given it on their own website. So what you have to do, just write on Google, in whatever field you are in, that medical journals, HEC recognized Scopus medical journals, and the list will come. You download that list, it will be in PDF format, and you will be able to know all the names of those journals in which are recognized, and their categories as well, and their impact factor as well. You open their website, you click on the name, you open their website, and then you will be able to check their impact factor, their categorization, all the details, and their policies, that how do they accept a journal, how do they accept a research article, how will the process of peer review will go by, and what is the fee, the research publication fee, that will also be mentioned. All these things will be mentioned there on their website. Now, coming to the review system, peer review system, sometimes and most of the times, whatever you have done in your research, you might have done lots of hard work. Of course, nothing happens without hard work. You would have done, but during the course of peer review, peer reviewing is something very different to what you perceive it to be. When it will go to a peer, a reviewer, the reviewer will see it from a different eye. They will see it from a different eye, from a different perspective. They will see it critically. And when someone sees someone of that level, that he's been appointed a peer reviewer of a well esteemed journal, he will see it with the critical eye, and he might end up pointing out some points which he or she, whoever they are not agreeing with, or they are concerned about, or they are concerned about the consistency of those facts, or they are concerned about the sometimes the authenticity of the things, or sometimes they are concerned about overall impact, or the methodology of your research. So they will mention it, they will make a report and they will mention it. When they will mention it, they will send it back to you. When they send back the review to you, either it will be in the form of changes, or in the form of rejection, or in the form of acceptance. If it comes, and mostly it is a paper never gets accepted on the first hand. You should not lose hope. You should never lose hope. Many a times they will recommend many changes to your paper, or some changes, or at least some changes. In most cases they are most changes, many changes, and in some cases they are few changes. In both cases, you have to be humble enough to accept. Many a times, a person gets very intimidated. I have done so much of work, why should I even consider changing what I have done? They are some, the peer reviewers, they are using some other lens to critically analyze your work. So they will mention it, they will mention it in a very
Okay, I think there is some technical issue, so I will be back soon.
Sir will join us in a while. Until then, share your reviews about the bootcamp till now.
For those who have attended the bootcamp on day one and day two, do let us know how was your experience and what did you learn from this.
Uh, Sorry for the distraction in technology distortion. Am I back? Am I audible?
Yes, sir, no problem. You can continue from now on.
All right, all right. So I was at the point that you were basically on the submission process. You were submitting your paper to now all of these things you might have to very well understand that in the form whatever I'm telling you, it is something that is either learned by experience after you experience all this, or either it can be told by someone who has experienced it already. It is not mentioned in any book, it cannot be mentioned on any slide, or it cannot be mentioned anywhere. Whatever I'm telling you, it will be of of that much of use for you if you are, encouraged or enthusiastic enough to work in the field of research, that you might very well get, for example, I'm giving my own example. There was one research journal in America, very famous US journal. I will not take the name. I submitted my research there, and the reviewer, of course, he is doing blind peer review. He don't know me, I don't know him. We both are not familiar to each other. He mentioned, I don't even know he was a he or a she. I don't even know that. So when I submitted my paper, suggested some changes. I did that. Again, I submitted. Now he suggested some more changes. It was a 12 email procedure. It was at least 12 times that that he suggested changes. 12 times. And 12 times I did those. Although they were not, in my opinion, they were nothing. They shouldn't have been even mentioned. They were sometimes very dumb reviews. They are sometimes very dumb sort of reviews as well. They are sometimes very brilliant reviews as well, which make your research quite good and quite better than before. But sometimes they're very dumb as well. And he was not able to reject it, but he has to, maybe somewhere, he was, not in a mood to accept it right away. So it was at least an exchange of 12 emails between us, that at least after 12 he accepted it. And what were the changes like? There were sometimes even the changes in formatting. The formatting, I'm not telling the format of research or research methodology, the formatting of a Word file, the Microsoft Word file. He said that the formatting is not right according to me. What was the formatting? I basically used Times New Roman text in 12 and 14 headings and 1.5 line spacing. This is standard. Whatever you're going to write, you want to start writing, this should be noted that you should always use Times New Roman text font. Sorry, Times New Roman is the standard font in research, and the font size is 12, and the line spacing is up to you, but 1.5 looks good. 1.5 is also always looks good. And justify it as well, justify the page as well. If you will justify it, it will also look good. Except for that, I think nothing as such is required. So he said that, he sometimes, after, he used to reply after 2 days. And after 2 days, what he was telling me, that according to me, the format of the Word file is not ideal in my understanding, and I would like you to do this and this. I would like you to uh, take double spacing, and you remove the single spacing. And double spacing, according to me, is a good thing. Such kind of things. Some people are like this as well. So keep in mind. So you will always learn with experience. If sometimes, and many a times in the beginning, a researcher gets very annoyed even after one or two emails, one or two replies from the peer reviewer. They will get so irritated that they might say, okay, bhaad mein jaye, and I'm not going to submit it here, I'm not going to publish it here, and I will publish it somewhere else. Do not waste the opportunity. What's the point? Even if it takes a dozen emails, so what's the point? You can always do some changes to your work. So this is a tip for me, that never undermine the review of a reviewer, a peer reviewer. Of course, sometimes there will be some dumb ones too, but some most of the times they are good ones. So I'm not making a negative imagery of those peer reviewers. So keep this in mind. Now that you have submitted it and the peer review system is also done, and now the publication, the point of publication comes, and after the publication is the submission of fee. The submission of fee After the submission of fee, it is the publication. Once you get the publication, you will get a link, and you will have to make a couple of accounts. One account is called a Google Scholar account. I hope so that you have got all. If you are enrolled in your universities, you must have been given email IDs of your own institute, that are somewhere. If you're a student, they will start from your roll number and at the rate, uh, for example, lums.com.pk, umt.com.pk. They should end like this. So they are called institute emails. If you have it, very good. If you don't have it, go to the office, to the IT office, the HR, human resource, wherever, and get an email instantly. As soon as you go, you should get this email, because you cannot make a Google Scholar ID without this. You have to make it. Why Google Scholar is important? Because this is what you have. This is what is required, as in this age and time, that Google is very important. Of course, all the data points on your name will be on Google. Google is not charging you for search engine optimization. It is doing it itself. Once you are registered on Google Scholar, you have made an account, and you cannot make an account without the institute email. So you should get it as soon as possible if you don't have it. Afterwards that you have done it, now your name is registered on Google Scholar, and the Google data points, they will start working on you. As soon as you get published, as soon as your paper gets published, Google Scholar will itself, by itself, you will do not have to do anything. It will itself take up your name and your publication, and it will uh, go and count it as in your publication section in your Google Scholar ID. It will do all the things by itself. And similarly, whatever happens in the future, you have written a book, you have written an article, you have done a research, whatever you have done, it will be automatically going to Google Scholar page of yours. And when it is going there, it is making your profile free of cost. It is making it itself. It is doing all the things by itself, and it is developing your profile, which is looking good enough now if you have done 3, 4, 5 publications. And afterwards, you are going to be considered an international scholar. This is how it is done. This is now account number one. The second account that you have to make, it's called ORCID ID. Let me write it. It is called ORCID ID. Now, ORCID ID is what should it call? It should be called the official research ID. In simple words, it is called the official research ID of a research scholar. Now, the ORCID ID is is a website. Basically, you will just go and write that ORCID ID on Google, and the ORCID ID website will be opened. And after it is open, you should have to make your account there. And after you have made your account, you will be given some numbers, some digits. How many they are? Maybe 12 to 12 digits. You will be given those. Yes, ORCID ID. You will be given those digits. Those digits are your identity in the world of research as a scholar. They are your scholarly identification. Those numbers, those digits given by the ORCID ID. Now, this ID, you have to save this. Of course, your account will be safe and well secured, but you have to save this up as well. And once you are published, you would have to manually add your paper to ORCID ID. Now, the ORCID ID is linked with your official Google Scholar as well, your official email account, which is your institutional email account as well, and ResearchGate as well. It is very important to make an ID on ResearchGate as well. By the way, it is not necessary, but I do recommend it because ResearchGate is a very good website. So you should also try to make an ID there. So I'm just giving also ResearchGate is also a very good website, very good research platform, you can say in simple words. There are some research platforms, and ResearchGate is one of those. Now, ResearchGate also do the same work as Google Scholar. Google, of course, have billions of data points. ResearchGate have a little lesser than that, but it will also take up your paper and link it automatically to your ResearchGate profile. When it is linked to your ResearchGate profile, it will again become an extended and another Google data point on you. Now, when your name will be googled on Google, the first result will pop up from ResearchGate, and it will give scholar and this paper. The list will come, and it will pop up in a manner, very scholarly manner, because Google Scholar is a different platform, right? Google Scholar is a different website. If someone needs to know about a scholar, they will open Google Scholar first, and then they will research about it. But for ResearchGate, the simple Google will take you to ResearchGate. So after ResearchGate, these three accounts are necessary. These three at least should be necessary. And once they are done, and your IDs are linked in all these accounts, when your paper is published, you will be asked to mention in the form in which you have to publish, and again in your institute if you are applying for reimbursement, because reimbursement also is done by filling a form, by giving them the printout of your first paper, the first title of your paper, and then attached to a form. And on the form, you have to mention your ORCID ID, and you have to mention the title of your research, authors and co-authors as well, and the total amount spent on the publication. And after that, you go and submit it to your research department, and then they give you the research reimbursement, or the research grant, or research award, in simple words. So for that purpose as well, for filling out the form as well, it is also important. So make these IDs as well. When you will end up making these IDs, now your online work is almost done. Now comes the most important part and the last part, in my opinion, that once you have done a work, I would say there are millions of scholars in the world, millions. If not, I cannot exaggerate. I cannot say billion. Maybe I wish to say, but there are at least millions of scholars. How many names do you know? How many names do I know? How many names do you know? There might be very little or very few names that we know. Why is it so? All the scholars that have done work, all those published scholars, all those research scholars are unknown, although they have done the work. Why they are still unknown? Because they don't do the last point right, which I'm now going to mention. The last most important point is selling your name, selling yourself up. By not selling it, I'm not saying literally. I'm saying in the terms of marketing. Marketing is again very important. What exactly marketing is? Once you have published yourself, you are a published scholar, it will all be available on Google and all other platforms, all on ORCID ID, on ResearchGate, on academia.edu. It will be available everywhere. But who will go and search about it, or search about you, or search about what you have done? Only a person in need. Only a person in need for a literature review, for a survey of literature. That what is the work that has been done before me? So I need to. So you will just become a single reference for people. For some people who are in need, that is not everyone. Only the person who is in need for a reference, you will become a citation. That they will cite your reference, and that's it. You are done. So how to become something more than a citation? This is the point, right? So now comes the point of marketing. Marketing the name. It is somewhere. It has to do. It has to do with what I should say is again the need of the hour, or in need of this time, which is socializing. Social media is one of those places where it has to be done, because without it, I don't think there is any other way. Maybe if you do very good, very good. Me personally have always done. I have always done good in my whatever institute I have gone to. I have been, even now that where I am, I am, my topper of my class. I have perfect 4 GPA. But it did it help me in a sense that my institute was able to give me their own platform, or they have supported me so much. Of course, me being their student, they have given me more importance than what they give to their own professors, so I'm very thankful to them. But still, it cannot be done merely by using the platform of your institute. It cannot be done. This you have to done personally. This thing can only be done personally. You can conduct your research in a group. You can do it with your friends, with your research colleagues. The research can be done even in the form of group. No problems. There will be authors, there will be co-authors. No problem at all. But this point, marketing or selling the name, I call it in simple words, it can only be done by yourself personally. So how, what is the exact platform? The platform is social media. By social media, I mean, of course, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, and maybe X as well. X mean Twitter. So all of these platforms have to be utilized. Now Facebook have become so notorious nowadays, but when it was made for the first time in 2004, why was it made? It was an educational platform. It was an educational platform that has been misused so much. So I can understand that Instagram is meant for fashion and products and such kind of stuff, because Instagram was made way later, very later. But Facebook was meant to be an educational platform. Ask Mark Zuckerberg, ask and see why did he make it in Harvard School. It was made for educational purposes, so it should be used for educational purposes more. So you should go and use it for educational purposes. For its real purpose was that, exactly that. So then when you have done enough marketing, that once you have published your paper or whatever you have done, introduce it to people. Introduce it to people on Facebook, on YouTube. Maybe make a video, do something, let people know what have you done. Whenever you meet someone, you think that it's a very he's a good, or she is a good researcher, or they're a colleague of yours. You must introduce them with your work. This is also a form of marketing. And only after that you will be able to get that name, which is necessary for what. It is not show off, by the way. It is not showing off. It is giving or getting the necessary, or I should say the deserve attention of your hard work, for against your hard work. You deserve attention. Your work deserves attention. What can be it is for no good if it goes and becomes a citation for someone. Gumnami mein kya fayda. So it will be useful only when you are able to introduce it to people. It will become known. It will become most downloaded thing on ResearchGate. Maybe on ResearchGate, they are also downloading data as well on academia.edu as well. So they will start recommending you or your paper to people. This happens only in case if it is, for example, the downloads go beyond 1,000 at least. After that, you become a recommendation. Even if someone is not searching about you or your work, it will come and pop up in recommendation of the search engines. The search engine, this is what is called a search engine optimization in simple words, which has to be paid for the people who haven't done kind of a quality work. But for someone who has done a quality work, you become an automatic recommendation on search engines. So this is how it is done. So I would like to end here, because the question and answer session is the most important, and today, because it's the last day and session, there must be some questions related to what have been told already. So the floor is open now.
Sir, the first question is from Anatomy Guide. He's asking, I am from Brahim Yar Khan. Can you please guide me for any topic for research?
Again, I'm saying it is up to you. It is up to you. No one should tell you that. No one should. Why should I tell you that? Why should anyone should tell you that? It should come from you. You should see around you. You should check for the problems in the society. Why not? I just, in the beginning I gave the example of smoke. Very big issue nowadays. Why not? There are lots of researchable topics. But if I tell you something and you don't like it, so what will be, what's the point of telling you? It should be something which comes from inside you. What is an inspiration? It is somewhere you felt a gap around you in the society, and now you saw a problem which needs to be solved, and you make it a research topic. And this is as simple as that. No one should tell you that. You have your own eyes, your own intellect, mashallah, and you use that intellect to select a topic. And after take guidance from me or someone else. After that, take guidance that now how should I do it? So then I will tell. But the inspiration should be yours. You should
Sir Varda Asghar asks, Sir, I often hear that practical experimental researches are preferred and more appreciated nowadays. Is that true?
I think sir is again having some technical issue. He will be back soon. So I am seeing a diverse range of students from different universities, from GCUF and Padma Jana Institute, and a lot of other universities. It's very good to see that. Any queries you have, any questions, and for those who have also joined the first 2 days of research bootcamp, let us know your feedback and your comments regarding that, and how Dr. Umar Farooq has helped you in different aspects of your ongoing or your already conducted research, or any tips for your future research. Let us know all about that.
I think I again had incurred that issue, and so that it doesn't happen again. So I should like to, answer the question as soon as possible. One answer I can hear, I can read is, sir, I often hear that practical experimental researchers are preferred and more appreciated nowadays. Is it true? They are. They have always been, I would say, preferred. They are preferred, but uh, it doesn't undermine the theoretical researchers. As I have given the example of Albert Einstein, Erwin Schrödinger, Niels Bohr, and Paul Dirac, and all these people who are absolutely theoretical physicists and theoretical researchers. So all can be, they are appreciated equally. But nowadays, the problem is that the experimental research can rarely be conducted individually. It always has to be conducted in a form of a group. For example, by getting associated with an institute, like I give the example of CERN in Switzerland, particle accelerator. So that is a place where lots of people go, and they of course perform their researches and theories there. So they both go side by side. Both are equally important. Both are a part of research. If there are no theoretical researchers, there cannot be experimental research cannot be done. Experimental research cannot be conducted without the theoretical research, without the theoretical researchers. So both are important. Without experimental researchers, there can still be theoretical research, but without theoretical research, there cannot be experimental. So theoretical is more important, but again, yes, experimental researchers are preferred because, of course, they come up with practical solutions even more than the theoretical ones. But both are good. Both go side by side. Both can be done. No problem at all. I got awarded UGrad, which you have mentioned. Any tips or thoughts regarding how I can utilize the opportunity for research? Of course, it is. First of all, congratulations, very good, and you should keep on doing what you are doing, because you must have done something right. And that is why you got the UGrad. And you should keep on doing what you are doing. You should not complicate things for yourself. Keep it simple. Keep it as it is. You just keep on, being. You said keep doing the work in the manner that you feel is the most ideal for you, because sometimes a researcher or the person or the a student is doing a work very well, and he goes and takes the opinion or suggestion from a person. He makes things more complicated for them, and at the end they even lose their own aura. So I will not go, and I'm not that kind of a person. What you are doing, you should go keep on doing that, and well done, and lots of prayers. How many research articles one should theoretical research and also interlink and literature best possible way? Then more people are doing in theoretical research. No, there is no number. There cannot be number I cannot tell, because numbers, how many number of papers or articles should be read, that I cannot tell. That no researcher can tell, and it should not be tell as well. It should not be told as well. It can be even a single paper, a single book. It can be read by one researcher, but it should not be told as well. So that is why
Sir is having connectivity issue. He will be back in a while.
And for the time being, I would say there we have seen and but the participants who have joined us in all sessions, and I would like to appreciate and specially mention those like Lukman Qureshi, uh, who joined all of our sessions and asked really good questions and made this session interactive. Thank you very much to you. And Tasbih Fakhar as well. Tasbih Fakhar also joined us all days, and she has been asking questions, and we are really thankful for that. And any other questions, any other participants, we really appreciate your presence. So kindly, question any questions you have, please ask. And to all the viewers, if you liked our work, the work of 360 Muslim experts, our platform, do follow us and like our page on YouTube and Twitter and Instagram as well. We are available on every single page, and hopefully you will be coordinating with us. And if you like our work, we will in our next induction drive register with ourselves according to your skill set. Any range of diverse range of students are welcomed. If you are a medical student, non-medical student, social sciences student, any type of student, you can work with us and register yourself and uh, connect with according to your skill set. I would like to mention some things like we have induction drive, and people who are interested in us about induction drive, people who are interested in us in our platform can join us. And our platform is a part where we align our youth with the Islam, and at the same time building their skill set and providing them opportunities for networking and working with a wide range of people. So if anyone is interested, the next time we will be inducting, then on all our social media pages you will be known, and you will get to know all about it, and you can then proceed further. If you are interested in research, if you are interested in media, or if you are interested in writing, or any skill set you have regarding photography, videography in media, you can join that. And if you are interested in research with the wide range of people, then you can join the research. And there are a lot of different, diverse range of places where you can join. Okay, sir is back. So yes, sir, you can continue from
Uh,
now on.
I think, all right, this is my last try because technology sometimes can be annoying. So, and I was at the point and how to interlink the literature in the best possible way if more than one people are doing, distribute the work, distribute the duties equally. You cannot, and you should not bear the burden of other people, and they should not bear your burden as well. Distribute your duties equally, and whatever the research or the literature review or the survey of literature that has been done or has to be done, it should also be distributed, that a particular person should do all the if it's in the form of a group, one person should refer and go and see all the literature in the form of papers. One person can look all in the form of books. One person can look in the form of social media, because again, repeating, social media is one of the most important, if not the most important source of information nowadays. And this can be, do not interfere in each other's work. Do not interfere in each other's works that has been assigned works. Of course, you can give them suggestions if they want. So do not give free suggestions as well. But if they have been assigned a particular work, do not interfere that. Okay, that can be reviewed later. It can be reviewed later, but distribute the work equally. and distributed in a way that it should not conflict. It should not conflict with each another in the form of a group. If one is doing research paper, they should do that. One is doing books, they should only do the books, and the one person should only then do the review. The review is the duty of the third person, and then this can be done in that way. And I'm not seeing any other question. I think that's about it.
Sir, Dr. Zain Abbas is asking, sir, any messages from for 360 Muslim experts and hosts?
Yes, absolutely. First of all the credit of these sessions goes to Dr. Zain Abbas, because he was the one who have always been in contact with me. He was the one who, for the first time, of course, contacted me, and now as well. And it is the initiative of his, and the credit goes to him, basically. For the future, again, I would say keep doing what you're doing, and you do whatever you do in the best possible way. Also, for 360 Muslim experts, I think that it was very active a year ago. It has, because I can understand there are medical students, mostly medical students involved in it, and they have to go through so much of the work. Profs are very, they are mids and then profs, and after that, lots of implementation. And yeah, of course, it is somewhere that can be understood, that you have to do lots of work, but to make it more, in a sense, more academic friendly, engage more people, in a sense, who are willing to work, who are willing to do and work on regular basis. I think that will be good for and best for the 360 Muslim experts to expand. And also, I had also given one of my suggestions, which I always give. Yeah, you should try to conduct a conference, a multidisciplinary conference. I hope you understand what an academic conference is. It can be done very easily. Sometimes not even much of a budget is required. But when you conduct a conference, it is ideal for the organization. It is nothing can be done, nothing can be better than an academic conference for an organization. So I think this is one of the things that can be done. An academic conference plus people who are willing to do work on regular basis without any breaks, and of course keep on doing the work that you are doing. Keep it and do it the best way that you can, and all of my prayers are with you, inshallah.
Sir, Arup Fatma asked, should we be guided by the page count or the word count?
Should we be Absolutely not. Not at all. Not at all. Numbers I hate. I do love numbers when it comes to physics or mathematics, but I hate them when it comes to number of words or number of pages or number of something or number of that. Absolutely. Let me be very unorthodox, but bullshit. Why would ever anyone should worry about the number of this and number of that? Again, I'm saying it to the people who are concerned about it. These are that people who sitting on that level, the professors, the peers, the HSC will recognize you, the university will recognize you. Let me give an example. There was a person who did PhD in by writing a thesis of 30 pages. 30 pages. And now we hear that PhD thesis should be at least more than 500 pages. Sometimes people write it to 1,000 pages. Why? There is no need for so much of detail. Only 30 pages are enough, even less than that. For a thesis, PhD thesis, which is giving you the degree, the doctorate degree. Why was it accepted? It wasn't in the HEC policy. It wasn't in my personal. I'm also trying, because my thesis is now about to be submitted. It will be around 25-30 pages, not more than that. Even I like to even trim it down. And how can it be accepted? It will only be accepted if it is of a good quality. Quality matters. So word count doesn't matter. Page count doesn't matter. It can be very well. The thesis can even be 25 to 30 pages, and even a paper can be as good. Can be very good for 6 to 7 pages. Even less than that, 4 pages can sometimes be enough. Why not? And number of words, 3 to 5,000 words is standard. If it is lesser than that, no problem, no problem at all. The abstract 100 to 100 to 250, in between that, it should be good enough. Why not? And it should not be by the looks of it, or by going by the the book, how it mentions it. It mentioned on the HSC policy that the thesis should be at least 70,000 words to 80,000 words. A paper should be from this and that. They end up relaxing their guidelines for you if you have done quality works. So anyone who tells you regarding page or number or word count, in your mind you should say it is all bullshit. I will not do it. I will do quality work. If it is for 3 4 pages, it should be good enough. Okay, so can we publish in a free journal, or how would we know that it is a valid journal or not? By How would you know it's valid or not? I told that I should write it up as well. It will become a little easier for you. There is an index called, generated by the HEC, called Scopus, Scopus. So Scopus is the indexing authority body. You can go and look in Scopus index that which journals are valid. They are all mentioned. All of the journals that are mentioned in the Scopus index, they are valid. So you shouldn't worry if you are submitting in any of those journals coming in that list, Scopus list. And coming to a free journal, there is a possibility. Again, I told this in the first session, I guess, that there are some free journals. Yes, there are, but they are very difficult to get published in. They are very difficult. Why? Because they are, if in paid journals, they get an on average, I'm talking about per issue. If they get submissions to in a sense 100 to 200 submissions per issue, paid journals I'm talking, if they get 100 to 200 per issue submissions, the free ones get 10,000 to 20,000 submissions per issue. Now you can tell it, you can very well tell yourself that how difficult it will be to get published in free journals, because the number of submissions is so high in free ones that it becomes so difficult for even the peer reviewers to review your paper. So only the absolutely extraordinary ones get their number and they are reviewed. Otherwise, if you are lucky enough, maybe it can be published, but then it becomes, they are more saturated, the free ones. So mostly the time gets wasted of a scholar if they need to publish their work as soon as possible. So the best thing is to get published in a journal which is charging you some fee, because they are getting lesser submissions, they are getting lesser time, and they are getting
I think sir is having connectivity issue again, so we can wind up the session right now. And any other, most of the queries are being answered. And if any of the left our query, we can answer it in the group. And I think we should end the session right now. So thank you for all of you for your contribution, and do give your reviews and the feedback in the comment section. It will be shared. The link will be shared in the group, and do join 360 Muslim experts, and stay updated for the further opportunities regarding research team and other things. And we would like to thank Sir Umar for his time and willingness to answer our questions. So, considering this, I think we can end the session. And thank you for all of you. So, Allah Hafiz, every one of you, and you can leave the meeting right now.